In the second part of this lecture, I want to briefly summarize all of the different factors that we've covered this semester. One of the first factors we learned about was the genetic factor. Several researchers suggest our genes, biology, play an important role in personality development, including Eisenick and McCrae and Costa. Modern twin studies and adoption studies do suggest that we inherit some parts of our personality, usually the more stable aspects. But we don't inherit our destinies. Just because we inherit a certain gene doesn't mean that it's going to express itself as we might think it does. They are shaped by the other factors that we've learned about in this class. Plus, our genes impact everyday behavior, not just those stable aspects of our personality. Many of the theorists we learned about this semester highlighted the impact of the environment. Modern researchers have identified a long list of situational factors that do in fact impact personality. Societal events like 9/11 and the COVID pandemic, and social standards about what is appropriate and what is not. Raising children, working, and experiencing stress can also play a role. Our culture, ethnic background, and economic conditions can also impact how our personality develops. Both Skinner and Bandura paid attention to behaviors and learning, which provides theoretical support for this factor. Today, we have plenty of evidence to support a relationship between learning and personality development. Things like self-efficacy, locus of control, learned helplessness, optimism versus pessimism, all of these factors play a role in personality development, and all of these factors also impact how we learn. Many of the theories from this semester also highlight the impact of parents, whether we're talking about their level of affection or their rejection or their use of rewards and punishments. Today's researchers have been able to support many of these initial ideas. Parents' child-rearing practices, personality characteristics, and the way they were raised can impact how their children develop personality. The type of relationship between a child and their caregiver can make a difference, and cultural differences also play a role. Culture and social standards dictate which behaviors are appropriate and which ones are not. Many psychologists have tried to explain how personality develops, when, where, and how. Although some aspects of our personality are more stable than others, there is little research support for Freud's idea that personality is completely developed by age 5. Some of the others, like Cattell and Erickson, believed that personality continues to develop even after childhood. Today's researchers agree more with these individuals. Personality changes in adulthood are often instigated by big changes in the environment, in one's social situation, and in our economic situation. In other words, sometimes these changes are brought on not by choice, but because of the things that are going on around us. All of the theorists considered consciousness in some way. Freud and Jung said it was part of the ego. Adler and Allport wrote about how we are in conscious control of our lives. And Bandura said we learn by paying attention to models. There is widespread agreement among psychologists that consciousness does in fact impact personality. It impacts everything from what we pay attention to how we think about what we're seeing, to whether or not we adopt that behavior and continue it, make it part of our personality. And finally, the unconscious factor. Freud was the biggest promoter of the unconscious and its impact on personality development. Today, cognitive psychologists and neuropsychologists also study the unconscious and its processes. Modern research suggests that unconscious processes can be rational. They are based on rules and principles. They can be predicted. Researchers study these processes using subliminal psychodynamic activation, in which they show participants images or words for just a few milliseconds so that they can't actually see the image. People don't realize they've seen an image of a snake or a spider. And then researchers measure their brain activity. What they found is that even when people don't recognize that they've seen a picture or seen a word, their brain activity increases the moment that that image is shown, suggesting that our brains can process information without us being aware of it. Together, all of these different factors help explain our personality and how it develops over time. Thank you for investing your time this semester in this class to learning more about personality. I hope that you understand who you are a little bit better, how you got to be who you are, and that you understand some of the different factors that you might talk about with some of your friends and family members to help them understand who they are.